I tried so hard not to let it come to this, but LAF? My man, you're a clown. Like, you're the worst type of clown. You are the reason that YouTube is
Boom. What is up, brothers? We are live. Thank you all for showing up. Let's give it a few seconds to start this to get some people. Boom. What is up, brothers? Whoa, hold on. I think it was echoing on your end.
Yeah, I shut it down. I had those open. We're good now. We're good.
Okay, cool. Anyways, I'm live with formerly known as Benzo, the Wounded Viking, is his new YouTube channel. And he's got a pretty good YouTube channel over there. I think he has 50-something thousand subscribers. And, you know, he's been at it for a long time, posting a lot of positivity and motivation for the people out there. So, Benzo, what's up, brother? Why don't you tell us who you are and what you're all about?
Man, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. And also congratulate you, man, with your prolonged success in staying relevant and making fucking videos and figuring shit out to talk about. Like, if anyone knows how hard it is to keep coming up with new stuff to talk about, it's me. So congratulations on everything. And also, like I said in the intro, man, like, you're shitting on my setup. If I would have known you would have came through with the Joe Rogan mic and the lighting and all that stuff, I would have made an effort. Like, it's 10, 11 p.m. Belgian time. I'm exhausted as hell, so you're lucky. I'm gonna go easy on you. I'm a morning person, man. Like I was going to bed 1 hour ago, but thank you for having me. I'm great, excited to be here. And nothing is off limits now. So let's talk about anything you feel like talking about.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about the lighting and all that, man. They're just here to have a good time, just like we are. So
you need to tell me you don't got chicks watching your channel.
What's that?
You need to tell me you don't got females watching your channel. They don't care about the lighting. The females who watch the LFA channel.
Well, I mean, the females that watched it back in the old days when it was just like sitting in the driveway bullshitting, like just got out of bed. I mean, it's still the same people from the beginning, you know, so they don't really care. They see me at my worst and my best. So, yeah. So what's your channel all about, man? Like, cause you've been YouTubing for quite a while.
Man, I've done and I've tried a million different things. So originally, the whole setup, the whole premise of my channel was basically, for those who don't know, just like a little recap. So I had cancer twice. I had bone cancer, so they had to amputate my jaw and reconstruct a whole new jaw by using my lower left leg. And it basically caused me to miss out on my mid-20s. So from 24 to like 29, I was rendered disabled, just in and out the hospital, just not really able to live. And then after that, I felt like I had lost a lot of time. I wanted to start over. So I moved from Belgium to Barcelona. It's a city in Spain, for those who don't know. I know how Americans get with geography. I'm kidding. And I just made a series called Building a New Life. And my whole thing was like, I'm going to show people, you know, like, what's it like to start over, especially with something like this, something, you know, that you can consider a disability or a disfigurement, whatever. And the whole idea, man, like that's, you know, I don't want to start rambling too much about it, but I figured out that anytime I was walking down the street, people would stare at me, people would stare at my scar. And I was just like, you know, I've always been a pragmatic person, an opportunist. And I was like, how the fuck can I use this? Like, I'm getting all this energy directed towards me in the form of attention. So I gotta somehow flip it. I gotta make the best of it. I gotta turn this cancer into a positive. Otherwise, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life talking and thinking, you know, this shit ruined me. This is the end of me, and you know, I'm never gonna recover from this. So I had to figure out a way how to monetize it basically and make it work for me. And then I figured out if I'm getting views in real life, I might as well get views on YouTube. It's not. I never had a passion for videos. I never had a passion for vlogging. It was nearly pragmatic, playing the cards that I was dealt, taking a weakness and turning it into a strength. Because I knew that people would click on my videos out of the sheer curiosity factor, because they were just, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and even if it's a freak show, at least I'll get a click, I'll get a view. And then it just kind of, from there on out, turned into like a lead by example type of thing. Where
I don't think people would view it as a freak show. See, people are always looking for something to help motivate them. You know what I mean? So when they see somebody that's going through a hard time and they see how they triumph and how they overcome it, and how they turn what most people would perceive as a negative into some sort of a positive, I think it gives people motivation. I think that's probably why people are drawn to your channel. I think it's a plus that you can make money off of it, but at the same time, the viewers aren't there to make you money. They're watching to get motivation, and that's a powerful tool. So we're living in a bizarre time period where people are going out less and less. They're on their devices more and more. So they're spending a lot more time with YouTubers than they are with their real friends a lot of times.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of sad, but that's the reality that we're living in right now. But at the same time, it's a great opportunity for people like yourself and myself to, get out there and motivate people, however it is that you do it. So, everybody's got a different background, a different story. And, I think it's pretty cool what you're doing.
Thank you, man. And that's it. Like you brought it up, and this is also why, like, I got into the whole, why we got into the whole Mgtow thing. For me, it's kind of like, with the shit that I went through and everything, I hate people that complain. I can't stand people that are just negative. Because there's so many people just complaining all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's kind of like, I kind of wear my resume on my face, and it's like, if I can overcome this, if I can still be positive, still be social, still be confident, still have a girlfriend, still, do all these things that you think you can't do, even though you got, you never had cancer, you never had any disfigurement, you're just a little bit shorter, you got, you turn bald. Like, that's kind of my thing. I want to kind of show the mirror to people and be like, if I can do it, so can you,
Right. Yep. Davy Jones, he's a channel member. He says, make sure to join the stream, like it, and check out Wounded Vikings channel. Absolutely.
Thank you, Davey.
Since you made that comment, this would be a good time to lead into the reaction video you made about me in the past, and the two of us can react to it together. It was a couple of years ago. I just want to see like what your thoughts were on it. I'll explain my thoughts on it and what our current thoughts are on the whole situation. It's all in good fun. So chat, don't think we're fighting. If you're just now tuning in, that's not what it's going to be. All right, let's pull this up. Share screen. All right. I'm going to have to hook up my headphones so I can hear it.
Oh, yeah, I guess I got to do the same, right? Otherwise, it's going to echo.
It would probably be better. But if I'm not echoing, then I think you'll be okay. Because we don't hear an echo right now. Sorry. All right.
In challenging times, Dropbox helps businesses adapt.
Can you hear it?
Giving you terabytes of storage, real-time collaboration, and secure file sharing to...
But LAF? My man, you're a clown.
There's nothing left to say now, so I'll be on my way now, and I'll be moving way out, way out, way out of your way.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Benzo. All that bullshit. Let's get straight into it. Now, I got my shirt off, so you know what time it is. We're going to war, man. Usually 99.9% of the time, I like to keep this channel positive, good vibes, all that good stuff. But I done sat back too long and I watched this bullshit go on for too long. Since no one else seems to be concerned with policing YouTube and calling out bullshit, I see no other choice but to do it myself. Mind you, this is my first drama video in my entire YouTube career, and I tried so hard not to let it come to this. But LAF, my man, you're a clown. Like, you're the worst type of clown. You are the reason that YouTube is fucked in so many ways. You are the male equivalent of the crazy ass feminist bitch that's teaching other women to hate men, only you're doing the same shit to men.
Okay. I want to comment on that part.
Part of it really quick.
Shit, the sound's all fucked up. So I'm not quite sure where that comes from. Was I like when you would watch my content, did you perceive it as content that was, you know, I guess like hateful towards women? Like I never realized that's something that I was doing.
I gotta say, yeah, this was about, I think I watched 2 or 3 videos from you before I made this video. And I mean, honest to God, I have no idea which videos they were or what they talked about. But I do feel like the general gist of it was always kind of like demonizing women, and women are bad, and you know, like they're out to get you, and this is what you have to do to make sure that they can't like deceive you. It's funny. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like at the time of that video I had profound knowledge of you or even the Mgtow movement, all right? And this is not me backing down or anything like that. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not gonna lie for the sake of lying or to keep my ego intact. I just, yeah, that's basically the thing. Like I saw those videos and I felt like it was just kind of like taking the easy way to kind of play on incels and play on the whole like victim mentality, and then all you gotta say is like, yeah, you're right, you know, like, and they're the bad guy, and that's it, like an easy way to get support in a nutshell.
Yeah, so I guess my presentation could be perceived as being, I can see where you would get that from. I'll put it like that. But my intentions were always to help guys be better with women. Like that was the whole thing. So my thoughts on Mgtow was always like, Mgtow is a temporary deal because there's a lot of young men out there who, and myself included, when I was probably 18 to 21 years old, chasing women was like my top priority. Like that's all I cared about. I wasn't worried about like career. I wasn't worried about the money I was making. I was only worried about getting more girls. And I think most guys in that age group, that's all they can think about. It's natural, right? So my whole deal was trying to teach them, like, you're not going to get anywhere by doing that. Like you should spend that time on your self-improvement, you know, becoming the best version of yourself. And then later on, you're going to have a lot more options. But I guess like some of the videos, if you were only to watch one section of the channel, I guess it could be perceived as negative. I do understand that. But
that's the thing. And also I definitely felt like a lot of your advice pertains to a specific segment of women. Like I don't like the idea, this generalization that all women are kind of like thinking the same. Definitely there's something to be said about how men think in general and women think in general. But I feel like the issue, and also a big issue that I have with, you know, the whole Mgtow thing is like, it's kind of like 90% of men chasing the same 10% of women, putting, you know, them on a pedestal, And of course they're gonna start acting like bitches and be mean and be dismissive and manipulate you and play with you and do whatever the fuck they want. Because most men are just hypocrite when it comes to that. They value looks. They all want the hot chick whilst not being the hot dude themselves, right?
Right.
They won't even give average chicks or the low average chicks time of day because, like, oh, fuck that, dude. I got to get a hot chick, right? Because I deserve a hot chick because y'all want a hot chick.
Right.
But imagine being a hot chick. Every single day you have literally 650 opportunities to have sex, to get free dates, to get free drinks, to get free food. Like, how can that not fuck you up to the point where you're going to start treating people like shit? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like the advice you give is actually, and that's the thing, like I started watching more videos later on. You're not lying. Like the stuff you say, you're not a liar. You're not saying things that are not true. And all these tactics and all these things is like, I've used them myself and they work. Problem is, when you're dealing with a good woman that might not look like Kim Kardashian's stepsister,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't deserve that either, because then you're also running game because you were, you know what? So that's kind of like my thing, where it's like men need to fucking get over the fact that not all of us are going to settle with a supermodel. Like, we're not all, like, there's not enough of them, right? And,
I agree.
And men are just like not, again, like they're not honest about that. Like, a lot of guys are not willing to put in the work in the gym. They're not willing to dress well. They're not willing to give a fuck about their appearance. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I even got friends like huge deer guts, you know, like don't even take care, don't shower, and they're just like,
you froze up.
Oh shit. I'm good now?
Yeah, you said you have friends like.
Yeah, like I got friends with like big deer guts, not taking care of themselves, bad skin, you know, not showering, poor hygiene. And they'll just like, they'll be like, nah, I don't want her. She got small tits. And it's like, have you fucking looked at yourself lately, man? Like, so that's my thing, you know, that's my thing.
Right. Yeah. So the thing about the negativity that was that you would have saw during that time period was it was like a progression. So if I don't show guys the negativity, they're never going to understand how to overcome that and see the positive side. You know what I mean? And you kind of covered it yourself right there. So women do have, an attractive woman does have hundreds of messages every day. She doesn't have time to go through all of them. That's why a lot of guys get left on, you know, they don't even get responses. They are going to mistreat you because they just have such an abundance, and it's just the way it is. And the only way to overcome that is to actually be better. And that was the progression that I hadn't gotten to yet. I mean, I was starting to get to it, but I can't just in one video cover all of it, because you know how hard it is to come up with content on a regular basis. It's like a soap opera. You give them a little bits and pieces at a time, and you just constantly keep it moving. So, but I do understand, like, I understand where your perspective was at then, and hopefully it's not the same now. But anyways.
I was gonna try to make this video without yelling, and I'm already yelling. So let me get into my reasoning as to why I think you are a clown, kind sir. My issue with you is that you are clearly highly intelligent. You know exactly what you are doing. Because when I first saw your videos, for some reason, your videos popped up in my recommended tab. Man, the first 2 or 3 videos I saw, I was rocking with it. I was like, all right, I'm feeling the male empowerment. Like, you made a lot of good arguments, and I was like, you know, this guy has something to say. He's put a lot of thought into it, and I was agreeing with most of it. So as YouTube works, because I watched a few of your videos, more and more of your male propaganda kept popping up into my feed. So I started watching more and more. And after being about 5 videos in and scrolling through the comments section, it had become painfully clear to me that you are just running a fucking show. Like the whole thing is fabricated. You're actually sitting there putting on this very animated, thick comic book character. Like, you're not a real person, dude. No one fucking talks like that in real life. Yet you act like that's your natural persona, right? Now, the issue is, I know that's not you. You know that's not you. But all of those 14, 15, 16-year-old little boys feeling insecure, they don't got a fucking clue.
Okay. Yeah. So I was definitely putting on a character. You know, I was pushing it to the extreme a little bit because I wanted it to be entertaining. And I was a lot of times even using accents. Like I would sit out there with the sun, like the fisherman sunglasses on, like, "What's up, brothers?
Yeah.
You got to lift weights and work on your car so you'll produce more testosterone, which converts to big dick energy. And big dick energy is what's going to get you more girl." You know, something stupid. Like, I think they knew it was I'm pretty sure they knew that it was, you know, a character that I was playing.
I mean, look, man, for sure some of them knew, but for sure a lot of them also didn't. Like, don't underestimate the simplicity of a lot of people. No disrespect, but it is what it is. Like,
True.
Let's not act like there's not a lot of gullible people out there who don't even see the difference between. And the thing is, you're doing comedy, or you are doing comedy the right way. You are not putting it on too thick. Like, you are still close enough to reality where you could be a real person. There's actually people who are every single day the way you are portraying yourself to be in those videos. But I wanna say something, man. It's because I swear to God, I haven't seen this video in at least a year and a half, I want to say. It's something I feel like this ties in greatly with also the people that watch your videos in your community. I'm so angry, man. I forgot how angry I was in that video. And for sure, like, a big part of me, like, being that, like, turned up and being so, like, fucking, I was single at the time. This was I was single. So this is actually more than 2 years ago when I made the video. And I can tell that me struggling to find a partner, that would stick with me, not just a one night stand or a hookup, but somebody that would, like, really be with me, and then somebody that I could build with. I really see how that has changed me, because I'm looking at that person right there, and definitely, like, that side is still in there somewhere. I can always summon it, all the same as the same way you can summon a character. But a part of that is also genuine, like, frustration from my end. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is something that I feel like a lot of your audience, lonely men, can maybe, like, take some like, inspiration from. Like, the presence of a woman in your life can and actually will make you a more gentle, smoother, happier person. Just the fact that you don't have to masturbate and watch hardcore porn every night. You can actually, like, have regular sex. Not to simplify a relationship to that extent, but somebody, that supports you, and then just kind of, I guess, gives you that boost of confidence. Because when I look at myself right there, I see somebody who's really, like, looking for, I'm like, fucking look at me, man. Like, give me my respect. And that's something that's interesting to see, definitely.
Yeah. I wanted to pull this up really quick. This is something that I actually haven't looked at. I wanted to just get a look at this myself, because you kind of you mentioned that my viewers were probably mostly, like, impressionable kids. That's kind of what you were leaning towards. But I just looked at the analytics, and 45% of them are between the ages of 25 and 34. So when I made this video, I was 31. So, and actually 75% of them are between 25 and senior citizens. So most of them are pretty old. I think the average age is probably about.
Yeah, I gotta say though, like, when I don't know about you at 25, man, But my 25, my 26, my 27, like there has been even when I was up until 30, I really feel like 30 has become the new 20, the way, life
Yeah.
is going. And you're not mature at 18. Now you're not mature at 22. Like, I feel like 28, 29, 30. It took me, like, I'm 33 right now. And if I look at myself, if I look at videos from 2 years ago, well, this being one of them, obviously, the shift I have made between 31 and 33 is like, it's fucking insane. Like, I remember turning 30 and thinking, I don't feel different at all. Like, I was still doing the same. I was still clubbing. I was still doing the same dumb shit, still chasing the same superficial goals. And now, like in the past year and a half, past 2 years, I have gone full on to that next kind of like, I can relate now with older people so much more. Like, I can't really talk anymore with a 24-year-old. Like, there's not much common ground there. Whereas if I'll talk with someone that's 40, I'll be like, yeah, I got it. I get you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that. We all change, we all grow. And to be honest with you, the way that I presented my videos back then, if I started over, I would probably be a little bit different. But I was new to YouTube. I had no idea some of those videos were going to get like, 500,000 views or whatever. I had no idea. I was just sitting in my driveway making videos and I was reaching like a small audience. And then all of a sudden it was like, a lot of people were watching.
Dude, because you got charisma, you got natural charisma, you got natural swag, you got a great deep voice. And then, like, there's a lot of lost men, looking for a role model like that. Like, you're very confident when you speak. You're very certain of the things that you say. So don't underestimate yourself, man. This was always going to happen when you put yourself out there, especially in the context of the topics that you talk about. So, but I feel you, man. Like, dude, if I look at my videos, and this one too, like, I laugh. Like, it's funny to me, man. Like, I would never make a video like that today again. Like, it's funny to me how I go so hard on the net. Like, I keep saying you're a clown and shit like that. It's definitely I would go quite different today.
Well, I was actually able to tolerate and watch the whole thing. A lot of people have made videos about me, but what they do is they play clips of me and they react to it. And I just can't stand that. Like, if they're just stealing my content and just talking over it, then that pisses me off. But if they make a whole video and it doesn't even have me in it and they're just talking, then I'll listen. So I actually, I respect this type a lot better because at least you're creating your own content. You know what I mean?
This is a good time to tell you. Are you even aware that one of my this is funny, man. One of my currently most watched videos also samples you? I'm sure you don't even know. The video is called Being Ugly is a Disability. I think that's what the video is called. And it's got like 350,000 views now, I think. And I put a clip in there in the beginning of you saying, let's face it, guys, being ugly is like a disability. And I just cut you off right there. And then I go on to like, again, to my philosophy. And the video is not about you whatsoever, but I use you in the beginning. I'll send it to you later because that's actually, dude, anytime I make videos, I'm going to make more videos sampling you because they always take off, man. People seem to love that combination.
Well, so I remember when I said that, I can't remember which video that was from, but I remember what the context was. So I was explaining why, okay, there's a lot of content creators in the pickup artist community, in the red pill community, in the dating coach community, who will basically tell guys that looks don't matter at all.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's all about game. It's all about how you talk to them. And so I told a story about when I was working at a furniture store and the way a girl treats a man that she's physically attracted to versus a man that she's not. Like, both guys could say the same thing. For example, if a woman likes men that are tall, dark, and handsome, a tall, dark, and handsome man can walk up to her and smack her on the ass. And she says, oh, that's confident. Wow, this guy's alpha. He's so confident. He just goes after whatever it is he wants. But if she's not attracted to the guy, it's sexual harassment. he's fired, he's reported, maybe he goes to jail, you know, and it's the exact same action. So it's in a way that could be perceived as, I mean, disability might have been a really bad term to use, but that's
No,
all I
but
was trying to get at.
it's YouTube, man. You gotta put everything into like fucking. You gotta put everything on steroids, otherwise people are not listening. So it's all
Right.
good. That I agree. And look at me, like I have my fucked up ball sack chin, Freddy Krueger, you know, jawline, but that's all right. I can't change that. It is what it is. So what did I do, man? You know, like you can't tell right now because I grew out my hair. I take fucking hair pills to give my hair extra shine because I got long, beautiful blonde hair. Because
Yeah.
women love that, you know, especially the women. I'm very into South American women. They love that blonde hair, angelic shit. I go to the gym, you know, I take care of myself. I make sure I have a good body. I have muscles. I'm lean. Like I still maximize the things that I do have left. And that's what I tell people to do all the time. Like you're absolutely right. And these pickup artists and these people, they're selling a lie. They're trying to tell you like, yeah, it's all about confidence and aura. Like, it's some of it, but the confidence also stems from you being comfortable in your body and feeling like you're the shit. And if you know that, if you have a little beer gut and you're like not in shape, like that's why I tell all fucking men, like if you're not trying to get in shape, like I don't want to hear it. Stop complaining. It starts with that. You don't have to be Hulk fucking Hogan, but at least start running. Like don't be obese. Like that's up to you. That there's a science to that. Like consume less calories than you actually use, and you'll lose weight. You don't even gotta go to the gym. And that's kind of my thing. Like if you're not ready to do that, then stop bitching, stop complaining that nobody wants to hook up with you. It is what it is. But I agree with you, man, on what you said. It's true. It's real.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. All right, let's keep it going. I'm not sure what all said in here, but because I haven't watched it in a long time either, but we'll just keep it going.
I got no idea. Like they're legit looking at you like, man, I gotta get like him. That's my role model. I want to be like him one day. So when you're sitting there putting on your little show, talking about, you know, I like to pump him and dump him. That's just how I do. I pump him, I dump him, I drink a cold beer, and that's it. Like, I get it. I get the joke. That's my type of humor as well. I love being the douchebag, man. I love yelling at the camera with no shirt, flexing my muscle like a motherfucker. We can do this all day. The problem is this. You got a bunch of young kids and a bunch of teenage boys who are following your every word, your every step. They're actually going to be in positions with real life women talking about pumping and dumping, dude, pumping and dumping. Guess what's going to happen? Let me tell you, spoiler of fucking alert. People are going to look at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you talking about? You're an idiot. You're a weirdo. You're a psycho. Get the fuck away from me. And you know what's going to happen right after that? You know, my friend, because you're smart. You can't fool me. You can't fool the Benz. I see right through all that bullshit. I know you're smart. So right after they're done getting rejected by every single self-respecting female on planet Earth, they're going to run right back to your channel and watch a couple more of your little videos talking about how women are so vile and evil and they're trying to trap you. No, my God.
Okay,
Hey,
I have to speak on that.
I'm sorry, though. I got to say, I went hard. This was a good, like, I made a good point here. The beginning of the video, I was like, damn, man, that's talking shit. This is good. I like that. Like, that was actually a fair point, I would say. And I enjoyed that. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I never told men to tell women that they're going to pump them and dump them. Like I was trying to tell men to like improve yourself, stop focusing on chasing women, and okay, pumping and dumping is obviously I shouldn't have said that. I had too big of an audience to say that, but they're not going to look like weirdos if they're going out, they're having a good time, they're talking to women like normal guys. They take her home, they have sex with her, and then they just stop talking to her. That's officially a pump and dump. But they're not going to look like weirdos for doing that, I don't think. But I mean, of course, if they approach a woman in the club and they're like, "Hey, girl, I've been watching LFA and I'm just here to pump and dump you," of course, they're going to get slapped in the face and that'll be over with. But
Dude,
I
know.
I see what you're saying.
You're right. You're right about that part. But again, the only part where I disagree is that you are taken, and that's also a point that I made there. You are obviously like, you have natural, again, you have intelligence, you have social intelligence, like hence this whole fucking conversation, you know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, what to say. And you would never in a million years, like, you can go and make a video talking about pump and dump, and then you can go and, go out with your wife or whatever the case may be and just act cool and know it's appropriate. You know that you're not going to bring that up and say anything in the stratosphere of pump and dump. But your audience, man, again, like, I hate to sound like an arrogant douchebag that is superior, but a lot of people, they just don't really, they hear something, it's catchy, especially something as pump and dump, and you know how men are, how boys are going out drinking. I can already envision the situation where, like, one of their friends will be talking to a girl, and then one of the other guys in the group will be like, "Yo, we're gonna pump and dump, my G." You know what I mean? And then the girl will look like,
right.
These are the things that you and me know, because surely, like, you've also been in many of these social club situations where there's always these weird cock blocking dudes who like to just like be douchey and shitty, not understanding that they're bringing the entire group down by doing that, even though it doesn't matter. Like, you can tell the girl, "I didn't say that, that was my friend." Like, yeah, but that's your friend. So that's kind of my point. Like, in a court of law, you are correct, but in real life, a little bit more tricky, I would say.
Yeah. So on YouTube, just me making those YouTube videos, my perspective when I was acting like that was like, okay, for example, the greatest selling hip hop artist of all time is Mgtow, not necessarily because of his talent, but because he said the craziest, weirdest, off the wall shit that made people say, like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Think of like rock stars like Ozzy Osbourne, Marilyn Manson. It was never necessarily about the music. It was about the show. It was about people would watch it and it was like, whoa, like this guy's fucking crazy,
Yeah.
And of course you wouldn't want to do what they do. Like, if you did the stuff that Eminem says that he does in his songs, you would look like a nut job. You'd be in prison. Everybody would think you were a weirdo. He talks about killing his wife and, like, doing things to children and all sorts of stuff, but it's entertaining just because it's entertainment. So, but I understand what you're saying, because part of my channel was like educational. So I might make one video that's educational, and the next week I'm playing that character and it's entertainment, or, I'm being hyperbolic or whatever it is. So some people aren't going to understand which one's which, and they're going to take them both as literal.
Exactly. And that's it, man. That's it. I'm not going to get into the Eminem metaphor, because I'm a huge hip hop fan, so I got some more arguments why I think he sold as much as he did. Let's not forget Dr. Dre's production, his beats. But
true.
That's a whole different thing. We're not gonna start talking about that. But no, true. And me as well, man. Like, that's a responsibility. Like, at the end of the day, you and me were individuals just making videos for the hell of it, especially in the beginning, in the early days of our careers, if that's what you want to call it. Dude, I put out a bunch of shit that I didn't really think through. I was just like, man, let me fucking stir some shit up. But yeah, people will watch it still years later, and they'll take it as gospel, and they'll take it as truth. And this is something that is tricky. And even though that we grow and we mature and we grow wiser, and that stuff is still out there, and you never know who's watching and who's listening. And again, like, never underestimate the inability of the average person to have nuance when it comes to the YouTube content and not taking things literally.
True. All right, let's play some more.
It's you. People like you are the problem. The same way extreme feminists are the problem. People that want to live their life in extremes. People that have forgotten about common sense. People that are no longer able to just let shit happen naturally. Treat people with respect. Don't approach every situation like a hostile environment. You're fucking up an entire generation. And that's the problem with YouTube. This bullshit is rewarded. Like, in order for me to get attention to talk about this shit, I gotta call you out. I gotta call you out on your bullshit. I'm sorry it had to be you, man. I like your style. I like your swagger. I like your little videos. But I can't sit back and watch this unfold. Not on my watch, not on Benzo's watch, because let's be real for a second. Let's be honest, just you and me, mano a mano. All that tough talk, all that bravado, all that pumping and dumping, hold my beer, that's not really how you talk to girls in real life. That's not you. That's not you, man. And if it is, let's see the women. Where the hoes at? Where the girls at, right? Let's see it. Why have I yet to see one video with you knocking and, spitting your game with a girl sitting next to you? All right, it's going to be kind of hard since it's an online persona that you're just using to make money, get views, and do all the other bullshit that YouTube is consistently rewarding.
Where the hose at? Where the hose at?
I have to interject on that one. So show me one YouTuber in the manosphere, and we can talk about any guy in the manosphere here. Show me one time when they've put their girlfriends on camera or wives on camera, and it's been positive results. Or maybe I worded that wrong, but every single time. We could talk Donovan Sharp, Rollo Tomasi, Modern Life Dating, John Anthony Lifestyle, Mr. Lucario, Fresh and Fit Podcast. What happens is, now see, I can take a beating. I have no problem with people harassing me. I have no problem with people, calling me every insult in the book. But if you're insulting my lady, and this is coming from the Mgtow that supposedly hates women. If you insult my lady, I'll rip your fucking head off. That's just the way that goes. So if I put a woman on screen with me, whether it's a woman that I'm dating, which I've thought about doing, but I'm putting her on the line. Now the whole world is going to be reacting. Oh, she had a pimple, or she had, something was going on, and they're going to take that shit and run with it. And women just aren't built to put up with that stuff. Most of them aren't. Some are. Obviously, there's a lot of, female YouTubers out there, but most of them, they can't handle that stuff. And if I'm the guy that's in a relationship with them, they're going to attach that harassment campaign to being with me. They're going to say, if I date this guy, this is what I'm going to go through. And that's true. And this is why you don't see, like we just mentioned Eminem a little bit ago. This is why he doesn't put his daughter out there. Because if somebody mentions her, he's going to snap. And the reason why, and rightfully so, because he doesn't want to put her through all the harassment that he goes through. That's just my only point on that. And I would do some videos of me like out at nightclubs talking to girls. But the problem with that is, if they don't agree to be put on the video and you're monetizing it, you're setting yourself up for lawsuits and all that. We've seen RSD go down. We've seen a lot of people go down. So that's just not what I'm going to do. But it is a valid point that you made. Like, I do think you should show receipts if you're going to give dating advice. Like, so it's a catch-22. But I'll take it this way over taking it on the other side, because like I said, if I have people telling me that I'm a fraud because I'm not showing receipts, okay, they're talking about me. But if I show receipts and now they're saying she's ugly, or she's a
Mm.
transsexual, or she must be a hooker. Oh, you paid her. She's an escort. Now you have hundreds of thousands of people out there calling her an escort. Now the people she works with think she's an escort, and shit like that. So I just don't want to put people that I know through that. You won't even see a male friend of mine on a video.
Yeah.
I mean, very
Yeah.
rarely.
No, man, I don't really have anything to say about that. You're right. I agree with that. It was an easy point to make for me, at the time of making this video. I was just trying to like basically take you down. I was in competition though, but of course not. Of course, like if I do it, but because I don't make videos about Mgtow, like it's way different, But I get your point, man. I totally get it, and I would do the same if I was you.
Right. I think that's pretty much most. I think you made most of your points there. I did watch. I remember last time I watched it, like the majority of the rest of the videos kind of explaining the points that you've already made.
Yeah.
So we can just move on with the conversation. We don't have to watch this anymore.
Good, man. Good. I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Yeah. But if anybody wants to check out the full video, it's called if you type LFA or LFA exposed, let me that's what I typed up here. It was the first video to show up. But
Nice.
anyways, LFA is a clown is the actual video title. But yeah. We'll go back. So anyways, how familiar are you with the manosphere and in a whole? Because I know you're not necessarily part of the manosphere, even though everybody technically could be, because you give dating advice sometimes, and you give like relationship style advice, which is technically basically what the manosphere is. So are you familiar with the manosphere as a whole?
Not really. Because most of the names that you just mentioned, I'm not really hip to. I do know. I used to watch. Is that Coach Red Pill? Is that his name? Coach.
Yeah.
I used to watch him, man, because I liked how he has like 6 cameras set up and he has all these different angles. But I also like it's like a guilty pleasure. He also, I feel like he manipulates a lot and he keeps talking in these extreme examples, like the protagonist in the story is always like a hot blonde chick with big boobs, and then there's this poor, short, again, bald guy. It's always kind of like working in these stereotypes, playing on the minds of like the people that he knows is watching. So in a way, I respect the tactics that he uses, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, man, it's a lot of dark shit. It's a lot of negativity. It's a lot, again, and my problem, my biggest issue with that whole message is basically you only need to hit the jackpot once. I feel like too many men, they are just trying to like have sex all the time or something, or like hook up, have one night stands. Yeah, guess what, fellas? Most women, are not trying to give up the goods and, go to bed with you and suck your dick, and then the next time, just like be put to the side. Like most women at a certain age, especially, and even like younger chicks too, like they're already, they're looking for something serious, and men are just trying to like get their dick wet and hook up. So it's like you can't really fault them for being cautious and for being like, So men need to just kind of like be honest with the fact that like if you want to hook up and have one night stands, lower your fucking standards. Like be prepared to have one night stands with chicks that are not fucking, top class, world class models. And the girls that are looking for a relationship, you only need one of them. One woman is enough stress. Let me tell you, man. One woman is enough trouble in your life. You don't need 2 or 3. Like I always joke about this. Like I don't even understand men that cheat. I don't understand men that will willingly go out your way to invest energy in another woman. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
one-
there's something that I always say. Sorry to interrupt.
go ahead.
But the way to a man's heart is through his pants. The way to a woman's pants is through her heart.
Right.
That's the way that it goes. And a lot of guys, they don't fully understand that. So if they're just running around wagging their tails, chasing after every woman they can, trying to sleep with her, it's not going to work out. The best way to get laid is to actually develop a connection with a woman, speak to her, build some sort of a bond, and then she's going to want to give it up to you on a regular basis, often. And in order to do that, you have to develop some sort of a healthy relationship and healthy companionship with that woman. That's a fact. So I agree with you 100% on that. And the thing about, you mentioned Coach Red Pill, he makes a lot of videos kind of teaching guys things like never tell a woman you love her, don't tell a woman how you really feel. And he's very intelligent, and the way that he says it is very believable.
Yeah.
But I think that's bullshit as well. As a matter of fact, when I really want to make a move on a woman, I tell her exactly how I feel.
Of course.
That, to me, that's the most effective strategy. That's just the way that it is.
That is how you display confidence, by not running in, by not taking the long route, just being like, look, man, I'm just putting it out there. I'm into you. I like you. Like, let me take you out on a date. Like, one of the things that I used to do, let me be careful what I say here, is I would tell a girl in the club, like, look, I'm not really trying to dance or talk to you. It's not the setting. I would just like the opportunity to get to know you, like in a daytime activity, have a coffee, not in a club. I want you to have a good night, good time with your friends. But like, let me get your number and let's meet next week, like during the day. Like, that's something, you right off the bat, you make it clear that you're not trying to pump and dump, as they say. And that's the thing, man. And all that bullshit about, don't tell a woman you love her, like, that shit is so toxic, and that is so insecure. And also, like, chicks are onto that, man. Like, they've caught up. Like, they can see that shit from so far away. Like, if you are not a bad boy, you're not. It's really hard to fake that shit. You can say the words, but it's your aura, it's your energy. If you're fucking scratching yourself, like looking all nervous and trying to say all the things that Coach Red Pill taught you, you're still gonna look insecure because your energy is screaming insecurity. So that doesn't, all this pickup artist stuff, it doesn't work, man. Like, just be. It sounds so simple, but it's true. Like, be real, be yourself, and be realistic.
I agree 100%. That's actually kind of exactly what I tell people. What are your thoughts on Mgtow? You've mentioned that a few times. The movement as a whole, what are your thoughts on it?
It's so funny, dude. I just realized that Mgtow, I keep saying Mgtow, but it's Mgtow. That's how you say it. Oh man, I'm fucking retarded.
Either way.
Yeah, because you already dropped that like 3 times this conversation. I was like, who the fuck is Mgtow? Like, I don't know that creator. No, I get it. All right. So yeah, in general, man, like, for me, it's kind of like, it's a little bit disheartening for me, and it's a little bit sad because I don't think that the alternative, of having a woman in your life really will bring you that much joy. Like, I think you should be cautious. I definitely think that American people, American men, I get it. The system is way different there than it is in Europe. Don't get married. I am all aboard with that one. Like, do not get married. Like, the American system is fucked beyond belief. And I get that, due to the institution of marriage, like, a lot of men have become scorned and frustrated. But in general, man, like, I can only say it, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you just need to find like one high quality woman, and they do exist. Dude, don't date American girls then. If you feel like they have this, this type of personality, there's a whole world out there. There's different continents you can go. There's different countries, everything. You don't have to limit yourself. I'm not telling you to go and get a mail order right. Like, I'm not advocating that either. I'm just saying, like, there's many other ways. If you don't like the American cultured women, which I can understand, if you think they're too assertive, too bitchy, too this, too that, like, who am I to say that you're wrong about that? Like, when I meet girls from certain cultures, like, for example, I'm Belgian. For a lot of people don't know, I'm from Belgium, right? So I don't like Belgian girls. I never have liked Belgian girls in my life. This is my opinion, all right? Belgian girls tend to be very, like, competitive. Very, like, I can hold my own. Yeah, and to me, it's kind of like I get like a little bit of a, for lack of a better term, I get a little bit of a manly vibe often from them. So I'm like, I like women that are really like ditzy and
Girly.
girly. That's what I like. So what did I do? I said, I'm not gonna date Belgian women. I'm gonna travel, meet other women, and that's what I did. And guys, like, not all South American women, not all Russian women, not all Asian women are like brainless gold diggers. Like, there's a lot of educated, independent women as well that are also just looking for a good guy to be with, that are also tired of machismo. For example, to use the example of South American women, South American men, hey, no disrespect, but you guys are kind of like dogs. They are. Like, they like the, cheating is inherent to the South American culture. I have a ton. My best friends are all South American. They cannot not cheat. I'm generalizing, but it's kind of true. So in Spanish, that's called machismo. And a lot of women there are sick and tired of that shit. There's also a lot of feminism going on because of that reason right now. When they run into a decent European man like me, or a decent American dude like you, whoever's watching or listening to this, they'll be like, that's all I wanted. Just a guy that is loyal to me, doesn't want to cheat. And guess what? They'll reward you with unconditional love. They'll take care of you, and happy fucking ending. So I feel like there's much better alternatives than to go into this Mgtow mentality and to go on Reddit and in these forums and get together and fucking complain all day about how evil women are. Like, that's not helping you. You're just in a fucking echo chamber and repeating to each other stories about, who got fucked over worse. But at the end of the day, those people are just on the internet. They're not coming to sleep with you and hold you at night, Like, you're not really improving your life by making that your community and by making that your daily topic of conversation. Like, that's how I see it.
Yeah. What would you say to a black pillar? Do you know what the black pill is?
Please educate me.
So the black pill is a movement that was basically created by like incels. They're basically saying it's over for various reasons. It could be because they're too short. They're not good looking enough. A lot of them think race has a lot to do with it. Some people would say money has a lot to do with it. There's just different various factors that some of these guys can't overcome for whatever reason. So it's basically, to sum it up, it's the it's over pill. It's guys that think it's over because of, whatever circumstance they're in.
I mean, if you're asking me, honestly, a person that has had to, to fend for his life, like I come from the absolute bottom in terms of like physical health. If you're a healthy person, right? Let me make a few stipulations. If you don't have real health issues, if you're not in a wheelchair and you're talking about it's over, then hey man, natural selection. Natural selection. Like, if that's you, if you want to, feel sorry for yourself because Pasha turned you down and you think it's because any race can get laid. Like, it's so silly to make it about race now. Like, I know people from all races that are successful in their own right when it comes to, attracting women and being social and being popular. So that's such fucking bullshit. It's just like, man, we're so many people right now. We got 7 billion. And we are just breeding a generation of weak motherfuckers that will just, you know, if it's not, you can, if you would give these black pillars, if you would all give them like a beautiful woman that's loyal and takes care of them, I guarantee you, within 1 year, they would have something new to complain about. They would be fucking going full Alex Jones. They would be saying, you know, fuck Biden, bring Trump back. They would go hard into politics. Like they would find a new avenue to feel left out or to feel frustrated about. Like that's just that's a disability. That's a handicap mentality. And I don't really got anything to say to those people, and you know, unless it's like, get your shit together and realize that nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about your problems. The universe doesn't care. Like your sulking is not gonna change anything. If you're not willing to take steps to change your life and turn it around, then no one is gonna do it for you. And you're gonna die a lowly death, and that's gonna be it. And you're not gonna have a legacy. You're not gonna be remembered. And it is what it is. And that's just something that you have to decide for yourself. Like, who are you? Are you somebody that's gonna, you know, let those things bring you down, or are you gonna try to figure it out? Like that's it, man. Like I'm the wrong guy. I understand. I may sound a little bit harsh, but I'm the wrong man. I had 4 of my roommates die, man, in the hospital. Like people laying next to me in the bed, and you know, fucking be dead a week later. Like I can't really feel sorry for those type of first world issues. I can't, man. Like it's up to you at the end of the day. And even if you are the most hideous fucking creature, and you're like a literal midget, and you're bald and you know, deformed, like you can still, like, then you just have to turn to radical acceptance in terms of the fact that you're probably not gonna have, you know, a partner, but then there's still other things that you can do to receive validation and to feel good about yourself. Like there's always a way. Like, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what I did. That's what I did. Like if anyone would have the reason to feel insecure or just be like, fuck it, I give up, you know, like I surrender. People, people might look at me now and say, you don't look that bad. You don't look that bad at all. The fuck are you talking about? I look this fucking good because I worked my ass off to look this good again. I'm still going to physiotherapy every single day. I have a fucking dude literally breaking my mouth open so I can open it up and talk better. That's, you know, I'm in tears every day. Like this shit fucking got tears running down my eyes, like my cheeks, because it hurts. It's excruciating pain. I'm in pain. I'm talking right now. This shit is hurting. I don't have bottom teeth. Every time I go out to eat in public, food is falling out. Like I can't chew. I got like 2 teeth left here. On the other teeth, I gotta like rack it in there and see what I can do. And still I'm out here going out, doing it, like maximizing my situation. So don't, if you're feeling sorry for yourself now, like natural selection, you know, the strong shall continue and the weak shall perish, man. Like it is what it is.
I agree with that. You still have a pretty good dating life though, don't you?
Yeah, I did. I had a good dating life before cancer, that I was the douchey guy. I was really like the jock, you know, and I was an asshole, man, like straight up. And then after cancer, I didn't have sex for, I want to say 5 years. And I remember I was visiting San Francisco, and I was in a hostel. And that's when I got laid for the first time in 5 years. I met this obese Australian chick. Like she was morbidly obese. And yeah, I had sex. She was the first girl that I had sex with in 5 years. So I was like 27 or something at the time. And then I remember, like, it, even though I didn't find her attractive, that kind of like that small win, if you want to call it that,
right,
propelled me again. And I was like, all right, so let's build on that. And that's what I did. And then I started meeting a lot of girls and fucking good looking girls. I'm not saying that to be like, yeah, but like I I love beautiful women, and I can't really spend time with someone. So I'm not talking about a one-night stand, but like I can't spend time with someone in a romantic context if I'm not attracted to you. So I had a lot of, you can go back to the videos, like in the first year, there's a lot of, you'll see a lot of girls in my videos, very beautiful women, but because they would like me because I'm a social guy. I know how to talk. I make jokes. I'm confident. I'm interesting. I got shit to say. I read, like all things that you could do as well. I wasn't just born this way. Like if I could educate myself, I watch the Joe Rogan podcast. I know a lot of shit about a lot of shit. Like it is what it is. I'm not gaming all day. So, but then the issue was they would like me, but they couldn't get over the scars. So they would hang out with me. We would even hook up, have sex, but they would never be interested in having a relationship with me because they just couldn't see themselves bringing me home to their family. Like this is the guy. This is who I want to be with, and which I understood because it was easy for me to forgive that. Maybe forgive is not the right word, but I always ask myself if I was even with me being the way I am today, if I would run into a girl that was super cool and all these things, and she had what I have, would I be willing to date her? Probably the answer is no. So if if I cannot get over that superficiality myself, I should expect that from others. So again, radical acceptance. And I kept going all in my personality, my energy, my confidence. And from there out, I was able to run into somebody that I think is extremely attractive and that deems me good enough to be with as well. And again, like I already said, you only gotta hit the jackpot once. Like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just keep shooting at the hoop. It's like you're throwing fucking basketballs from the half court. Just gotta keep throwing because all you gotta do is get lucky once. If voila, boom, you're set for life.
Absolutely. So to change the subject really quick, what's it like in Belgium now after stupid 19, after the cerveza bug?
We just literally today they said that we no longer have to wear masks in stores and in supermarkets. Concerts are also happening again. Clubs are opening again. You don't need masks anymore. So yeah, we're basically going back to the way it used to be, more or less. Yeah.
Are they mandating the Jim Jones juice?
I think they are. I think you need, because I'm double vaxxed, so it doesn't really. I think yes. I think you need, in order for you to enter like events, like clubs and stuff like that, and concerts. Mm-hmm. I think you need the vaccine passport. Yeah.
Okay, just wondering. I just figured I'd ask since I know you're out there in Belgium. It's different in every country.
Right.
People are having a pretty hard time with that here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So anyways, what do you think how would you define a high value woman?
A high value woman is somebody that first order of business is doesn't cheat, obviously. Like this is important. Like absolute loyalty is so important, and it has to be absolute loyalty from the men's side as well. I fucking hate cheaters. I can't stand men that cheat. I don't fuck with that. And so that's obviously the first thing. And then secondary, I would say a woman that is, and this might be a little bit controversial, but a woman that will think twice before flaunting everything she has on the internet. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a bikini pic here and there, but just like in general, there's a difference. Like there's levels, you know what I'm saying? If you have a woman that spends too much time posting, half naked pictures on social media, that would be something that you should probably be concerned about. Actually, a rule of thumb of mine is that if I dated girls that had tens and thousands of followers, and oh man, again, I don't want to generalize. I can only speak from my experience, but most of those women are batshit crazy. Like they receive so much validation. They have this whole, alter ego online, and they got so much fucking guys giving them attention all the fucking time. And that's just something I would be wary of. Like, try to, and I know this is very hard for, in America where everybody's so huge on social media, I guess, but I would just try to like find women that don't really fuck with social media like that. And there's nothing wrong with having 2,000 followers, but when you start going into the 10,000s, I would be like, yeah, I don't really, except if it's for something that has nothing to do with their body. If it's just because they have a hot body and they're posting the body all the time, I would be a little bit like standoffish,
Yeah. Well, I think those type of women they have too much pride. They're narcissists. There are a lot of those. There's male narcissists too, obviously.
For sure.
There's a lot of those out here. And unfortunately, most of these guys, especially if they're under the age of 30, you gotta think the iPhone came out when they were in high school. So Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all this stuff was out. Tinder, that's how they meet women. Most of these guys don't really know how to go out and meet women in public. It's never been part of their lives.
Yeah.
They always meet women online first, and then they schedule dates later. So what type of women do you think they're going to meet when it's these are the women on social media? Like if you want a woman that's not on social media, like most of these guys, that's the only option that they have because they don't understand it. And especially now, since 2020 hit, people are going out less. When they do go out, everybody's wearing a mask and staying 6 feet apart. And it's just like this weird, dynamic. So the narcissists are up in the front. The narcissists are what these guys are seeing. So most guys think that that's the only type of woman that's out there.
I understand. And that's why I am a very strong advocate of traveling, uprooting yourself from your geographical location. I know it might be a lot to ask, and not everyone has those financial means, but try to see the world, man. Understand that you don't have to stay where you were born, first of all. And secondary, if you have to stay where you are, try to get into community life. Try to get into daytime activities, A wise man once said, you can't find love in the club. And that's such a true statement. Like, try to find people that are doing things in the daytime, like hiking clubs, things like that, sports clubs, things that interest you. Join those type of environments, and then you will automatically run into like-minded people who like the things that you like. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I keep regurgitating the same thing. You only gotta find that one chick that is into something that you're into, and that's it. So it's a numbers game. The more that you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you give yourself. But and that's where you come in, man. I think that's where you come in with good advice, and you have to teach men to make moves in real life, and just go for it and not be rejected.
Well, all of my long-term relationships have came from letting it happen naturally. I've never had a girlfriend that I cold approached and like set a pickup line to. Or I've never had a girlfriend from social media or anything like that. All of my girlfriends have came from, maybe I meet her at the gym, maybe at work, or maybe, some sort of social event. Like you mentioned hiking. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But what happens is we'll see each other around and we'll start talking. We'll get to know each other. Like, it's just a natural process. There's never a point in time when I have to like ask her out or like, really push the issue. It's just going to happen anyways, because we're both attracted to each other. And I think that's the way that it should always go. I don't know. I think a lot of guys are backwards nowadays. I think social media.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And sliding into the DMs is not the way to do it. It's not the way to do it. Like, you just have to, like, But again, too many fucking guys are looking at relationships and women as the missing piece to their puzzle. Like,
Yeah.
you are the puzzle. You have to be complete. You have to be doing something that, like, women love a guy that has a purpose in life, that knows where he's heading, that has a clear goal and a clear direction. Too many guys are just kind of like waiting on the sideline, waiting to hop on the wave of a woman and be like, yeah, now tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you want. Like, that's not attractive. Women are not the missing piece of the puzzle, and society reinforces that. This still stems from our biological background from back in the Stone Age. If you don't have a woman, if you're single, you're broke. You're not able to protect someone. You're not able to procreate. So people just want to be with somebody so desperately that they just lose perspective. But you should never make not being single the goal. As long as you keep making women the goal, it's gonna be very fucking hard, man.
I agree 100%. I have to answer this question from the chat. They've been asking this. Tell your overseas travel LFA, clear the air now. The only times I've been out of the United States is Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. So, and they're all basically on the border of the United States. So I haven't been to Europe, haven't been to Africa, haven't been to Asia.
And let's say if you come to Belgium or Barcelona, man, you can sleep on my couch. I'll show you around. I'll buy you dinner.
100%, man. If travel fully opens back up, like right now, it's really difficult to travel. It's difficult to leave the United States. It may not be difficult for people to come to the United States right now, which is weird. It used to be the other way around, but it's pretty difficult for us to leave.
That's crazy. Yeah, you got the. I gotta say, man, like America is such a. Because first of all, let me make this clear. I got a lot of love for American culture. I grew up on American culture, and I think America is just the number one country with anything that has to do with entertainment. I'm a big NBA fan as well, basketball. So it's just, you have the most fascinating experiment going on. Like, it's so polarized, man. People's egos and personalities are so big in the US. Like, in Europe, it's not like that, man. Like, let me tell you, like, I hope you guys know that I'm very, very un-European, un-Belgian. People in Belgium consider me to have a huge ego, to be a loudmouth. Like, people in Europe, man, like, they tend to themselves. They're introvert. They're polite. They don't offend anyone. They'll think 20 times before saying something. You'll never really figure out what they mean because they'll just be focused on not offending you. And you guys are just all the opposite. You're all just like, this is my fucking opinion, and you're gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder, are you ever self-conscious about that? Like, do you guys know? Are you aware of that you guys are like this, or is it just kind of like, we're American, fuck everything else?
No, yeah, that the second one. We say what we want to say, and if somebody disagrees, we like get angry about it. That's just the way it goes. If you did live in the United States, who would you have voted for in 2020?
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't vote for Trump. I couldn't. I'm not even the policy thing. I just feel like you need a little bit of like presidential kind of like dignity and class. I know Obama did a bunch of fucked up shit as well, like all the foul shit he did in Syria, the drone bombings. There was a lot of blood on Obama's hands as well. He really wasn't a good president if you look at the facts. So I'm not pro-Democrat, anti-Republican, but it's just hard for me to like. I could never vote for and Biden. Then Biden looks like he's fucking like he doesn't even know where he is half of the time.
Yeah, he's a joke.
Like he's passing out, but at least he keeps things like, that's my Belgian part speaking, but leaders have to have a certain level of dignity. And yeah, Trump was too much of a shit show, man. Like too much of speaking his mind too much and not filtering himself. Like you need a little bit of dignity, I guess.
Yeah, I think a lot of that, though, was how the media covered him. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even vote. And the reason why I don't is because I think they're all part of the same show.
I
Like,
agree.
I think they're going to push the same exact issues regardless of who they put in. They'll just talk to the people differently. So Democrats, of course, like minorities and some of the disenfranchised are going to think that somebody's there to help them. So that's why they vote Democrat. But in reality, none of their policies benefit any of them. And Republicans, the working class and the entrepreneurs, they all think that the Republicans are here for us. That's not the case. Both of them are going to push the exact same issues. And, it's just the way it goes. But
I agree, man. I got a question for you as well. Like, it's like a double question. How much are you concerned with the whole climate change thing, and would this affect your choice in the matter of having a kid or not? I'm assuming you don't have a kid yet, right? Am I correct?
not yet.
So are you like, do you see yourself having children one day, and how do you mix that in with the whole fact that in maybe in 100 years, like the world might literally be fucking gone?
So I don't necessarily, I'm not educated enough on climate change to talk about it. If there really is a man-made climate change that's going on, that's going to cause the world to end in the next 100 years, obviously we would need to get that in check. That wouldn't stop me from having kids, because, you have to have, the kid could be the one that makes the change. They're the future. You got to have children and you got to raise them right. But
Point.
at the same time, how much of climate change is man-made, and how do you control it if it is man-made? That's what I'm not fully aware of, because some of the stuff that I see being put out there is like, they say that cows they account for like 65% of climate change or something. That's what our government's saying. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that's possible.
Well, basically, because they're shitting and farting all day, and because of that, they're exhausting CO2 into the atmosphere, which is causing a global warming effect. I'm getting sleepy, so I'm starting to like. It's hard to come up with the words, but basically, yeah, because of they're basically just the air that comes out of their ass makes the planet heat up in a very, like, this is the shittiest explanation ever, but that's kind of what happens in a nutshell.
So that is worse than, okay, so you have like, here in the United States, we have states like Texas and Oklahoma. That's where I live right now. And there's a lot of cows here, but there's not a whole lot of buildings here. There's not a ton of people. There's not a ton of cars, exhaust, airplanes flying in and out. We're pretty country out here. So which one would have a worse impact on climate? Do you think New York City, where there's cars, trains, planes, shit like that all the time, or the country where you just have animals?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we, as a whole, the whole, not just Americans, but we eat so much meat, and we are so used to, I think, having meat to our disposal in the supermarket. The production is just like, I don't think we can really fathom how crazy that amount is of production. Like, how many cows need to be bred at a consistent basis for us to have our steak and our minced meat and all those things on a daily basis. So I understand what you're saying, but how many New Yorks are there in the world? There's like maybe 5. Like, you got Tokyo, you got New York, you got London, you could throw in Paris. Let's say you got 10, like 10 of those spots where it's like a bunch of people stacked on each other and a bunch of cars. But then it's just like the entire fucking globe is basically covered with cows, except for Antarctica. But
why is it just cows? That's what I don't understand. Because, for example, if you go to Africa, if you go to the Congo, you've got elephants breeding like crazy. You've got gorillas, you got human beings, you've got all sorts of animals out there. You go to South America, you got all sorts of monkeys, all sorts of, bobcats and mountain lions, and they breed like crazy. I would be willing to bet that there's other large animals that have higher populations than cows do. Why is it just the cows?
I don't really think so, man. I think that the numbers in that regard are quite staggering. If I'm not mistaken, I think literally 90, and if I'm not mistaken, and please somebody fact check me on this, but I think that 90% of all animals right now consist of cows. Yeah, I really think so. Something crazy. It's a crazy stat like that, where it's like, it's not even close. It's not even close. Like, and then the 10% is like everything else, or it might be that it's like cows and chickens, something like that. Might be something like that. So please, somebody in the chat. This should be easy to check. But it really is like, it's like this. That's what I've heard. So, and then you pair that with, also the fishing industry, man. Like, we are just destroying our oceans. It's funny. Now I sound like the biggest fucking hippie. I'm not even that into it, but that's from the research that I've done, is that we're just on a consistent basis destroying the ocean. We are just like dragging these huge nets on a daily basis to capture a couple of tuna fish, killing everything else in the process. And it is the oceans actually take the CO2 out of the air, if I'm not mistaken. And because we're fucking up the whole ecosystem in the water, we're also fucking up its ability to do that. So it's like we're kind of destroying the climate on 10 different fronts at the same time. And that's why it's going so fast. I even think that it's something like that.
I would think, though, that things like world wars, or like any war, like bombing cities and things like that, would have a larger impact, though. That's the thing that throws me off. It's like the same governments that are pushing the idea of climate change are governments that are like, they're responsible for it in a lot of different ways. For example, dropping an atom bomb, obviously that's going to destroy the ecosystem a lot worse than farming, wouldn't it? Or even dropping bombs in the Middle East, or something like that. I don't know.
But this is that I think now, like, you're specifically talking about the American government, and you're right about that. And they are the ones, who did the whole atom bomb thing. But they're also the ones. There is no country in the world where the car lobby has the power that it has in the United States. That's why you guys don't really have decent public transport. Like, you should have a lot more trains to connect all the states and stuff like that, and just buses and just, subways. Like in Europe, we have a fucking, like, you can just pick. We have so much public transportation. It's like, you want a metro, you want a tram, you want a bus, you want a train, and we got fucking boats. We got tunnels underwater to connect us to the UK. And in the States, like, historically, the car lobbies, always told the governments, like, yo, none of that shit, because if people are going to take the bus or take trains, they're not going to buy cars. And that's why in America, everyone has a car. That's also why you're able to drive at 16. In Europe, it's 18. So it's things like that. Like, when it comes to that, I think the American government definitely is one of the, maybe one of the worst, actually, when it comes to that stuff. And I know, like, you're right about what you're saying, but I also think that America is one of the places that is still, I think, kind of the least concerned with it. Well, that's my perception. I don't know about that. I don't know, but I just feel like there's still, most people that I hear, this is very subjective, most people that I hear still opposing the whole climate change thing tend to be American, from my perspective. But yeah, I can't really back that up.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So, obviously climate change does happen. I think what people question is how much of it is man-made and how much of it is natural. And then on top of that, they question, what are the causes of it? So if they want to pinpoint cows as being a cause of it, the food supply being a cause of it, and not talk about industry, not talk about, world wars and things like that, because those things are necessary for governments to succeed. They have to have those industries. They have to fight those wars. So if they're going to, I don't know. I don't want to get into conspiracies or anything like that. I don't know enough about it, but that's where I would go off in a whole conspiracy there. So I'm not going to I'm just gonna stop myself. Davy Jones has looked up some numbers here. He says humans 7.6 billion, cows 1.4 billion, but cows are a lot bigger than humans. One cow makes up for like probably 10 people in terms of eating and farting. I would assume, right?
Cows also have like 3 stomachs.
Yeah.
So
pigs and sheep. I guess they're just like miniature cows. They do the same things.
yeah.
1 billion. I don't know.
Wow.
Anyways, I guess that's just a side point. They were just looking up the numbers. I know you asked for them earlier. Yeah, I don't know enough about the climate change and all the factors. The thing about it is, like here in America, and I'm sure worldwide, we kind of do what the governments tell us to do. It's what we've always done. So if they say, well, you can keep eating your meat, you can travel, you can keep driving your V8, whatever car you drive, then we'll keep doing it. If they say we can't, then we'll adjust to it. But, I don't think we really sit around and think about it.
Right.
We don't think about what we should do to combat it because the people that are in charge of us are going to tell us what to do anyways. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And a lot of Europeans are the same. It's definitely, and we have so many distractions, man, in the form of sports and entertainment and media. It's easy to get distracted, and ignorance bliss for sure.
Yeah. Well, I see you're getting tired over there, so I'll ask you one more question and we can wrap this one up.
Thank you, man. I'm so sorry, man, but it's almost midnight here, man. I got my little nephew's communion in the morning.
Yeah, I fully understand. What is a man?
A man is someone who is able to be content with himself without comparing himself to others. And a man is someone who does not feel the need to live up to the expectation of someone else or to act a certain way just because society or women or other men feel he should act in that way. Like basically someone that just stands on his own 2 feet, walks to the beat of his own drum, and basically will take his own opinion and his own view of life as his primary source of information. Like there is something to be said about having a supreme feeling of confidence, but also someone who has the ability to engage in respectful and intelligent conversations and is able to change his perspective and change his mind, given that he receives information that he considers convincing enough. That's basically that would be my definition of a man.
Right on, man. Okay, well, I'll let you go with that one. Thank you for stopping by. Stay in the chat though. After we go live, I'll just stay on. I'll talk to you for a minute. But anyways, we're going to end this one, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another one. Thanks for stopping by, and be sure to go check out the Wounded Vikings YouTube channel.
Hey, man, I want to say thank you again, man. I do think you're helping a lot of guys out there. And again, man, just thank you for being an intelligent, respectful fucking man that is able to have a conversation without, getting into bullshit and shouting and without, letting the ego take over, man. Like, we don't have enough of those. We have too many people just fucking like trying to make their point like fucking this. So anytime I can sit down with a respectful, rational human being, I'm absolutely honored, and it was a pleasure, man. So thank you.
Right. Same to you, buddy. All right. Well, that's about it for today, guys. LFA out.